Alright, just received my copy of Skyrise from Roxley, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not sure why I didn't get the wash um, done. Probably because I didn't think about it, because it's not Awaken Realms, and I always just, when I think of Awaken, like, washes, I think of Awaken Realms. But they did have a wash, and I saw it. I wasn't totally in love with it. What I've seen from it, so maybe it's not that terrible that I didn't get it. You notice I'm trying some things with trying to keep the models in view while I'm running my mouth. So I'm gonna work on some lighting, some settings, background stuff like that. Just see what works. I'm just experimenting, trying to figure things out. But I'm gonna go ahead and wash these. These are the monuments. The first thing I did is they've got these are the upgraded, so they're nice plastic. The other ones are wood, and they have the numbers printed. But I went ahead before I even gonna start to do any of the washes. I went ahead and sealed these with some Mod Podge, and it dries real nice, and that'll keep them in there. I've got one that was loose and kept falling out, so I'm thinking the Mod Podge will seal it in there really nicely. Um, yeah. So now I'm going to just take my homemade ink wash, get it good and soaked, and then I'll let them dry for like 12 hours, come back in the morning, and wipe off the excess and see how good a job this does compared to what what I would have paid for. And like I said, I mean, had I realized it at the time, I would have just paid the extra money and had them wash it for me. Because this is, while it's not a ton of work, and while I literally did develop this whole paint to play system, although this is just going to be pure washing on these, except for the board. I think I'm gonna paint the bridges, and I'll show that another time. Right now I'm just gonna do the wonders, and that's it. Okay, so that one's, I'd say everything was in all the nooks and crannies, and I'll push it around with some shoe polish. Yep, you heard me, shoe polish. Later, to make sure that it gets into all the little places I want it to go. And I'm just gonna put it on some paper so it doesn't soak into the bottom too much. Like I said, I already sealed it, so it should wipe off really easily. It's oil. Oil is just super duper forgiving. Alright, I'll do this one next. And yes, this stuff, if you're not careful, which I am not being careful right now because I'm trying to do this around my phone, which is just precariously being balanced on top of some blocks just to get it up high enough, and around lights so you could actually see what I'm doing. Um, and there's a decent chance that I will end up spilling this ink one day until I get a better system. Which, I mean, I'm already working on figuring out the lighting and trying to keep the miniatures in focus and having a little less going on in my background. Just trying to clean it up, trying to get better, just a little bit better every day. A little Kaizen for you. All right, that one looks pretty good. And what I missed, I'll get with the wax, the polish later on. Throw the next one in there. Just try to wipe the bottom off. I don't want to, even though I sealed it, I don't want to tempt fate and soak that token that's on the bottom. It's just a little cardboard token that they shove in there. So I'm gonna seal all of them in with some Mod Podge, not only to seal the token in case they ever, somebody ever gets them wet, because that happens, especially in gaming groups. People are drinking or not. I mean, it's just going to happen when you have tons of people handling your games. So instead of trying to make sure everybody's paying, because you can't. I mean, I've got ADHD. I'm gonna probably mess it up at some point. So it's best just to seal it and not have to worry about it. It's pretty. It's pretty already. I like it. And I'll get the rest of that off after it dries a little bit. Alright, last one. I said, and this is just an ink wash. I make it with an oil ink wash. I make it with some decent oil paints and some odorless mineral spirits, and then I add a little extra stuff in there. I put some pigment in just to really make it stand out. And so far I really like my goal. I was going in to try to get the sun drop effect that AR has, Awaken Realms, because I think it's just fantastic, and I love the way that they design their sculpts to literally hold a nice dark wash. They from everything from the how deep the details are, how deep they run, to the colors they choose. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and once I started doing this trying to mimic their sun drop, which I started calling Moon Kiss, but I decided just to call the whole method Paint to Play. And sometimes I'll put a little layer of like paint, maybe one or two colors on the models before I wash them, but not with these. These you want them anytime that the color is important mechanistically. I leave the color, and don't try to paint anything too much. Maybe a little like detail, like a little silver or gold or something that pops on a piece, but you definitely want to be able to see a white piece is a white piece, a red piece is a red piece, blue piece is a yada 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 yada. Okay, so gonna let those dry, and then I'm gonna come back later on with some of this and brush it all over the place. It keeps a nice barrier so that when I go and remove it with like a makeup sponge, when I remove all the excess from these with like a little makeup sponge, then it's still staying in the crevices, the wash, because otherwise the wash might, or it does, if I don't have that little barrier there, the wash will or the makeup sponge, one of these, when I wipe it off, it'll suck it out of the crevices, which is that's where I want it. I want it in the crevices. So, all right, that's that. Peace. Please like and subscribe. I know my videos aren't fantastic yet, but one day this will all make sense. I think. I hope. So if you help out, you like, you subscribe, talk to me, please. Comments are huge. I think that'd be great, just to have a back and forth, because I'm at the end of the day, I'm doing this to help people, just enjoy the hobby and give them something else to do when they're not gaming. That is still part of the hobby. That's why I call it the total hobby system. So the more people like, subscribe, interact, comment, it would be fantastic. Thanks again.